Hello again, everyone. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart, and this is technical analysis of the stock market today. Today is Monday, September 29th, 2014. We're going to take a look at the markets. Then we're going to look at three stocks: Pandora, YELP, and YAHOO. Okay, start off here looking at the Dow Industrials. I've got it blown up a little bit here for you. You can see that, what is the 10 below the 21? No, not quite. This is really not telling the whole story today. Really, the story for today is zigzag. The Dow at one point, very early on, the first 30 minutes, it closed the first 30 minutes down 138 points. The intraday low in that first 38 minutes was actually down almost 189 points. And then what did it do the rest of the day? It just zigzagged back up, okay? So here we are, and we've got this doji bar. I don't think it's a hanging man. It kind of looks that way to me, but for some reason, I don't think this is the official way it's supposed to look. Let's look at the indicators real quick. DI minus is greater than DI plus. We've got RSI sitting here 49, slightly below 50. Not sure I like the way that's looking. I mean, if you're looking at a bullish perspective, I don't know. It's really hard to tell on a day-to-day basis with the indicator, really. Let's take a look at the S&P 500. So we've got even more of a doji bar in here. Basically closed almost exactly where it opened. Opened 1978.96, closed 1977.80. So, literally, about a point apart. And so what does that mean? What is that telling us? That's telling us indecision. That's telling us uncertainty. It's telling us the market's trying to figure it out and it doesn't really know. So it's a pause. It's an indecision type day. And again, like I said before, took out the lows right down in here. NASDAQ. Now, NASDAQ is a little different. NASDAQ pretty much put in a bullish bar. It's not a bullish engulfing or anything like that, but it's because it opened way down here. So the NASDAQ opened a lot lower than where the Dow and the S&P 500 did, and then just worked its way on back up. Not seeing, let's see, we're still looking at the RSI trending down, DI minus ahead of DI plus, and the demand index negative. So, I mean, it's still in that downward trending. It's almost still inside the Thursday bar. To see the low is 44.66.64. And it slightly broke the low of Thursday. All right, let's take a look at the short-term trading index. The 10-day is moving up, the blue line in here. The 10-day is at 1.24. So we're kind of right in the middle of the pack, right middle between the 0.9 extreme and the 1.5 extreme. The VIX. The VIX had a pretty good little move again today. Now, I talked about this on Saturday that I did not think the way this looked that it was breaking down on Friday's action. So, and then, sure enough, we continue higher. Now, we did close lower than where we opened on the VIX, but we still, it's approaching on the intraday high here, approached the highs from the that late July, August 1st sell-off type thing. It's going to be real interesting. You notice how I get this trend line across the top here, whether or not we break. If we break 17.5, I think we're going to go up here and test 21.5, which means we're going to have a lot more selling on the way. The HighLow Index. New lows, new 52-week lows, swamped new 52-week highs today. There were 148 more new lows than new highs. So this is staying right down in here in this negative territory. It's not rallying, whatsoever. And that's really the snapshot. I mean, we've got one day of activity to look at today, kind of an indecisive, I'll call it a zigzag day. Why do I have US Steel up here? I don't want to have US Steel. Let's take a look. What I need is Pandora. All right, so here's the thing on Pandora. I think we had 5 waves up that peaked around the 1st of March, early March. And now we've been basically correcting since that peak on March 5th, that peak day, okay? And I think that what we've got is this first 5-wave A move down, and then we've got a B, which this would mean we're doing a zigzag. Well, and then what happened as we were, doing the C wave in here, we've got this like triangular type of action, an A, B, C, D, E, and now we've broken down out of this triangle and we're heading south. And I would think then that, let me blow it up a little bit, I would think that what we're going to do is take a shot at testing at least where A is, which is down here around 21.5. That would be my, my guess as to where this thing might go. If we look at, I don't want to measure this wave. I think that's probably as good an estimate as anything. I mean, you've got it. It's paused down in here. The low today was 24.17. The low here was 24.11. So we're getting a little bit of support coming in here around 24.10, 24.11. And if we break this point, then I think, we'll just keep stepping it on down and probably, fairly soon be testing 21.5. That's my read of what's going on with Pandora. Let's take a look at YELP. Now YELP, let me back out of this a little bit. Again, I think YELP had 5 waves up that also peaked right about the same time on that March 5th. And it's interesting that some of these internet stocks are peaking at the exact same time and doing the same thing in terms of the formation. I think we've got an A. I thought maybe this was a second primary wave and that we were launching off into a new impulsive wave to the upside, but I just don't think so. The way this is acting, the way this is breaking trend lines to the downside, I do think we've got a. Let's see if I can do this. So here's the first wave, okay, and now I think here's the B wave, and this B wave is 1, 2, 3, like we typically expect, and now we're getting this. C wave. And so when I look at it and I say, well, okay, where could this go? What could this be doing? Now, let me go back to my mouse. It's possible that usually on a zigzag, the C wave will be equal to the A wave. And sometimes it'll be a lot longer than that. Now, if that's the case, I mean, where's the high up here on YELP? Right around 102 or so. Let's go down and measure A down here, go to the end of B, which is the beginning of C. And really, I mean, in terms of points, C will equal A down here around 34, 35, 34. That's a lot. That's a long way below in terms of point wise. So I don't know if we're going to get that far or not. We've got to take it one step at a time. Right now, it's rolled over clearly to the downside. It's broken this trend line. We know that. We know it's rolling over by the way the moving averages have crossed. We're trading below. Let me get rid of the the projection. So we're trading below the 55, and we do know we've got a 3-wave right in here. And so I would think the first test is going to be right in here at this low at 64.70. And then we break 64.70, which is where this congestion here and this support, so where it came in right here, then I think we're going to come right on down and at least test around 49.50 where the low of May was. And I mean, what did it lose in the March 5th to May move? It went from a high of 101.75 to a low of 49. So literally it got cut in half in 2 months there. So to think that it could get, couldn't get cut in half, I mean, anything can happen in here. I mean, a high of of 86, 87. You cut that in half, you'd be at 43. I mean, you're down, slightly below that. So we'll just have to watch and see. Right now, it's trending down. We'll have to watch to see what kind of wave count we get out of this thing. It's going to, probably do a 5-wave move of some kind. All right, the next one we're going to look at, which I don't have up, is Yahoo. And let me scroll down and grab Yahoo. Okay, the interesting thing about Yahoo is I think that it is done its 5th move up here to the upside. And let me back it on down. Here's why I tell you I'm thinking 5 moves. I think we've had 1, 2, a big 3rd wave move in here from August of 2003, August 2012 to, basically when was this? January of this year, okay? So almost a year and a half, strong rally mode all the way up here. Then we got this corrective action that I think I count all the way over into here. So when I do Fibonacci projections, I actually come up with a projection that is literally almost to the point right up in here around 39, 43, 43.90, almost 44. Okay, so I think there's a real good chance that we put in a top here. If this top doesn't hold, if we rally back up across here, the next point that I've got for an estimate for top is 51. Now, it's also interesting that this dotted line goes back to resistance that occurred 2005, 2006. Let me shrink it on down for you just so you can see it. It's pretty interesting that when I looked back and I saw this, and I just literally put a dotted line across the high of right here, and it came across, and that is where the selling came in on this rally here on September 15th. And the high for the day there was 44, almost 44 even, and we've got this at 43.66. So it's pretty amazing that that has held from that long a period of time. So I don't know. I think there's a good chance this has been in. We'll just, again, have to watch the wave count to see if this continues to break down or if it rallies back. It was really tempting to try to sell it short in here, but I wasn't confident enough in terms of what it's doing. Let's take a look at indicators just to see if we see anything. DI plus is above DI minus. It's, demand index, a little mixed. The demand index is negative. So anyway, that's my best reading on it. We'll have to continue to watch it and see what it does. And we could break another little trend line to see if it holds or breaks, is from this low across this low right in here. And I think that could be a key little trend line that will kind of tell us whether or not it's going to continue breaking down or not. Okay, that's it for tonight. This has been Joe for Beyond the Chart. We looked at the market. We looked at these 3 stocks tonight. I am changing a stop slightly on Best Buy on one of the trade ideas, so look for that. I'm going to be modifying that. And then we'll be back Wednesday night. We'll look at the market again and probably some Chinese stocks on Wednesday night. So fasten your seatbelt. Have a great Tuesday and Wednesday, everyone.